Our guest today, a pair of Canadian broadcasting legends and great golfers. We're going to preview the Masters. Rod Black, Ken Shaw, Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show. Coming up! Our guest today, he is a native of Winnipeg. He hosted 4 Olympic Games for CTV over a 40-year broadcasting career. He hosted Raptors and NBA TV, former CFL play-by-play voice, CTV and TSN golf announcer, host for international hockey. He also called curling and, of course, was the voice of figure skating in Canada. He won the Sports Media Canada Award for Outstanding Sports Broadcaster. Ladies and gentlemen, Rod Black. And a native of Ottawa. He started as a reporter at CFTO in 1979. He quickly moved to the anchor desk. He anchored Toronto's most watched news in parts of 6 decades, named Canada's best news anchor at the Canadian Screen Awards, honorary chief of the Toronto Police Services, past director of Variety Village, chair of the Ability Center and numerous other charities, a member of the Order of Ontario, and a hell of a golfer. Ken Shaw, Rod Black. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Hello.
Joey, I never heard you lie before. You talked about the three of us as great golfers. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that.
Hey, you forgot to put in there, hey, Joe, you forgot to put in there for Ken. Ken has so many accomplishments, but you forgot to put in kicked Joe and Rod's ass at the Club Link member guest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we forgot to mention that because he certainly did over at Windance.
Kenny's going to be on the Champions Tour. Champions Tour of retired broadcasters. None of us will ever get.
That's the biggest trophy I have on the shelf, Rod. Beating you two.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah, that was. Funny. I want to ask you, Rod, because we touched on this briefly before we went to air. Your son Tyler, how's he doing? Where's he at now? And what's going on?
Well, he's on his way to Biloxi, Mississippi. That's where we all want to go. I think that's a song.
Yeah.
He's going to start in AA ball. He had a good spring training, played in the fall league. I think we talked last time. He got hurt a little bit last year. He was supposed to play for Canada at the WBC, but he couldn't get cleared by the insurers. So maybe next time in 3 years, I know he'd love to do that. But he's going to start in Biloxi. The goal is to get to AAA in Nashville, which then I'm going to invite you two guys to come down so we can play a little golf and listen to some music and watch some baseball. We got to do that in the summer, and then hopefully, if stays healthy, the dream is to get to the big leagues. I think he's living it now. So, and he works really hard. And my other boy's down in Baltimore. He's playing Division I, so his goal is the same, to try to get there someday. So it's crazy, these kind of hockey players who became baseball players, pretty good at it. Good, obviously, their mother is very, very gifted. But here's a good thing, since we're talking golf today, guys. One thing about Ty is he hits the ball a mile. Like, he hits it, but it goes everywhere, right? So I said, dude, the only thing about this sport is you have to hit your foul balls, and he doesn't get that. So it's interesting.
Well, I can relate to the hitting the ball sideways. I just can't relate to it hitting the ball a mile, as you guys know very well. I wanted to talk about we want to talk about your careers just a little bit here, and the way to do that, I think, is best way to do that is through video. We have a couple of clips from you guys which I found were kind of interesting, which I dug up. Rod, you're interviewing Norm Powell. Let's have a look at that, Vic.
I want to apologize to you for the colors, but it's not. People have been saying I'm a warrior usher. I was wearing this for you, actually, for your and for Fred Van Vliet. And I think we just blew out everybody watching. I want to apologize to you.
Okay, Rod, what was happening there?
It was during the NBA Finals and against the Warriors, and for some reason I think, Kenny, you had a wardrobe malfunction that day, and I realized, oh my gosh, I'm wearing green and gold here. So when we did CFL games, I could tell you this for sure. There were times, especially people in Saskatchewan and Manitoba are diehard football fans. If you were playing the Argos and you had a blue tie or blue suit, oh, you guys are cheering for the Argos. Oh, no. I could see that. Or if you had red on or orange or something. Oh, you're cheering for the. Anyway, I wanted to make that perfectly clear. And I wore it for Norm because Norm's college team wore that. Because I was clearly faking it at that time. But I miss him. I like Norm Powell. And I miss being around all those guys. But one thing I do not miss is Leo Routen's flatulence. I do not miss that at all.
It's legendary. I don't. Yeah, it's legendary.
Oh my gosh! It's once you get wind of it, it lasts forever.
Okay, Ken Shaw, let's move on to you now. We got a clip. I don't know how. Yeah, we'll get you to explain this later. All right, Vic, roll that clip.
Wait, Matthew McConaughey? I never thought you'd be my Uber driver. All right.
I think that's old Cyrus.
Whoa, now I see him. Hello, Cyrus. We're in his way. Maybe he should use his horn. I think you might have taken the wrong way.
Take the long way, huh?
No, I said the wrong way. Maybe he fell asleep. Maybe he's bulldozing.
I can respect that.
All right, Ken, explain this.
There is no explanation. It was just another Tuesday for me. Yeah, I used to be associated with something called Providence Healthcare, and I hosted their galas for 20 or 25 years. And each time before I came up on stage, they had a different way of introducing me. And that happened to be one of their little masterpieces. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Well, that was a masterpiece.
Honestly, Matthew McConaughey is the second most handsome man in that. Actually, third. I think it's the Bull,
the Matthew,
Ken, then Matthew.
Oh, good.
Right.
Good.
But also an actor, too. I mean, Ken's a better actor.
I was afraid I was going to come in number 3 there.
No.
Okay, so all right, so I guess we'll throw one of my all-time classics in there, shall we, Vic? Let's roll that one.
Fight, March 18th in Las Vegas.
What's he going to do again?
Fight.
And that's our report. Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Bentley.
And I'm Ken Shaw for David Joe Elvis. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Could have worked with Leo.
Oh man!
Okay, there may have been some editing there. That was a long time ago.
The first week, Joe, that you had joined us, there was an unusual word for you as well, coming from out west. You hadn't heard of Kapuskasing. I think you blew that one all over the park.
I gotta tell you what I said. Kapuskasing. Kapuskasing.
Hey,
Christine said to me right on the air, she said, where? What? Where?
Yeah, that was Christine Bentley with her 1990 haircut beside us there.
Yeah.
And the
good times. And
Dave DeVoe.
Well, my fart bit was very appropriate when we talked about Leo just before that. That was pretty awesome. So quickly, Ken, how are you enjoying retirement? How was Florida?
I'm loving retirement. I don't love Florida as much as I thought I would. I think I'd like to go to Portugal or Spain and spend some time there. If you guys have any recommendations, that would be great. I love retirement. You know, Joe and I had a boss, Rod, years ago by the name of Derwin Smith, and Derwin retired before us. And I asked Derwin before I retired what he felt, how it was going for him. And it's been sort of a motto that I've had that I really enjoyed what he had to say. He said, it's like we're kids again, but now we have money. So we can do whatever we want, whenever we want to. And that's how Nancy and I are looking at it. We're having a good time.
Well, that's good, man. And Rod, tell us about the Rodcast.
Yeah, hang on a second. My wife's name is Nancy. So why are you spending time with my wife?
Because
See, that's why I love Kenny. We have very similar tastes in women's names. I love that.
By the way, Lord Robertson's wife is Nancy. Yeah.
Wow.
See,
Yeah.
one thing that we're all consistent. We,
You have a
the
broadcast?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've been,
Broadcast.
it's called the Rodcast. And it's been great. Like I've been doing stuff with North Star and the Toronto Star. I do think we're going to, we're trying to expand it a little bit, kind of like what you're doing, Joe. Hey, I said this before, like, none of us ever really retire or move on. We just move on. And everybody in the world now, podcasts are like buttholes. Everybody's got one.
Again,
some are more like buttholes than others, though. Some are more like buttholes than others.
Yeah, some are nicer looking or sound better than others or smell better. I'm not sure where mine is yet, but I think one of the things that I really was lucky and privileged in throughout all the things that I did is that I got a chance to meet so many great athletes and coaches and people and entertainers too. That's the beauty of our world, and I do think that the lost art in our industry has been the longer interview. It's been sound bites, and it's been fascinating talking with Charles Barkley, and getting Henderson. You've had some of the guests, Haley Wickenheiser. Just getting to know some of the people a little bit better. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, and we're going to start doing more of them. That's the thing. We're trying to get it sort of up and running. I know Toronto Star is likely going to get involved, and there's a lot to it. I'm not a business guy, but I do want to know we can take it a little bit higher and farther. I'm a big fan of podcasts. I never was a year ago, you guys, but I'm not sure what podcasts you listen to. I love Smartless with Will Arnett and Jason Bateman and Sean Hayes. I love that podcast. I'd encourage everybody to listen to it. And if I had to model or steal from kind of their idea, I think that's kind of the play. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. And plus I'm calling games elsewhere in the States right now, and writing. I'm writing a couple of books. And so it's been busy. Kenny, you probably said it right. It's like being a kid, but then if you stay busy, you're busier. I'd like to, people say you're retired. I haven't retired, but I will tell you, I think I should retire because I'm very, very busy.
Yeah, I retired to retire. And I think it's somebody else's turn to do a lot of the stuff that I did, Rod. By the way, you mentioned Charles Barkley. People may not know how good of friends you are with Charles Barkley.
Yeah. He's a beauty. I love the man so much. I know. I just don't tell. Rob Black, my favorite guy. Canada. I'm big in Canada. I'm big everywhere. I know it's only because I could do an impression of him. He doesn't do me very well, but I will tell you, he's one of the greatest, most generous people. I met him through basketball. We became fast friends. My wife and I, Nancy, we actually celebrated our honeymoon with Charles, which was a crazy story. We were on our honeymoon. He was supposed to come to our wedding. He couldn't. And then during Labor Day, he says, "Listen, I want you and Nancy to come and join me and Tiger and Michael and Phil, and we're in Vegas." And I said, "Not a chance. There's not a chance." And I asked her, and she said, "Yeah, we're going to go." Obviously, I was very excited during my honeymoon. So we went, and we had a crazy time. And Tiger was there, and Jordan. We played a lot of golf, and we maybe imbibed a little bit, and watched them gamble. It was fascinating, and you can't make that stuff up. But Charles is one of the greatest, and he's one of the greatest broadcasters we've ever had in sports, for sure. He's just, you'd love it. Ken, you would love him. We'll have to get him up when he comes this summer. We usually play golf. You'll have to get out and play, and you'd love him because he loves great conversationalists, and you guys are great conversationalists, and he loves storytelling, and he's got great opinions. So I'd like to see him run for president.
Golf swing. He's got a wonderful golf swing.
It's better. Oh, by the way, you can see it. Oh, it was terrible. So I was there. I got to tell you guys, I first met Charles in basketball, but then we played in the Altamira charity event.
Right.
And that's a mutual friend was a caddy named Chris Bundy, who just gave it to Charles, and Charles loved this guy. He told him, "Charles, you suck." He was caddying for Charles, threw down his bag. It was crazy. And then, unfortunately, Chris was tragically killed in a car accident. Probably, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years later. And that's kind of how our friendship developed, through just the passing of a friend as well. And so through the years, I watched Charles swing, and when Charles was playing, he was a legit 7 or 8 handicap, legit, and he had a good swing. And Michael Jordan kept saying, "Oh, he's a 7." Charles was a better player than Michael. I can tell you that right now. Then somewhere, and it was, I don't know if it was around my honeymoon or whatever, he got so screwed up. He started taking lessons, and stuff was going on in his head, and he couldn't get it through, and he developed a yip in lessons, and he had that
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that jerky thing, that jerky crazy thing.
I said, dude, I said, that thing doesn't come with an instruction manual. What is that swing you got? What happened? I said, what happened? Shut the F up, man. I'll swing the way I want to swing. But so legitimately, though, he couldn't get it off the tee. It was anything that he had to hit. So around the greens, though, he was still unbelievable. He didn't have the yips. So he would still shoot, maybe mid-80s, high 80s, because he'd save around the green. But now he's got it back. His swing is really – you saw him on the match, I think. He's still not back to where he was, but he's got an incredible short game. He's a fun guy to play golf with. I got to tell you, he's betting on everything. Here it comes. Here it comes. Show this thing.
Who has the yips on the tee?
Yeah, no, not many people, Benny. It's so bad that they have the yips in the video. Look at that. Even when his video, it's such a weird. It's a hitch, right? It's a weird hitch. It's
David Feherty. He stops at one point right up the top.
Yeah,
he stops at one point and kind of halfway down, stops again, and it yeah. All right, here we go. There he goes. Yeah.
It was so much better.
That's the Charles we know.
So David Feherty says to him, he goes,
he can't get the tee out.
Charles, what the F are you doing? You're looking like you're looks like you're effing a football. Oh, that was crazy.
Hey, he's great.
But I got to tell you, he's the greatest dude. I love him so much. He's a great guy.
Well, speaking of swings, we should probably talk a little bit about the Masters, the 87th edition coming up this week. So so just a couple of notes here. The first Masters champ, I think, the guy who started the Masters, Bobby Jones, he won 13 majors before retiring as a so-called amateur. At 30, Jack Nicklaus, 6 Masters victories. Were you there? Yeah. I was just a spectator at that point, trying to get into the business. And Ken, of course, was anchoring the news.
It was a young
Jack, 46, the oldest to win it. Some kind of guy named Tiger Woods, 21 years old when he won it. So Tiger is back this year. He's ranked 983rd in the world. He has made the cut 22 straight times. Is this the year that Tiger fails to make the cut, Rod?
No. I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to. I got him as a long shot. This is if this was PGA, which is where's that? So is it at Southern Hills? Yeah, Southern Hills in Tulsa. If it was at Brookline at US Open, I would say, yeah, there's a chance. But 2 of the majors this year are in Tiger's favorite courses that he wins a lot at. One is the Masters, one is the old course at St. Andrews. And even though he hasn't played, and I know everybody's saying it, and every time you doubt Tiger Woods, he does something remarkable. Even like recently, he just came back. Was at the Genesis, right? He came back. He had not played in a long time, and he still was carving and fighting. And I think Tiger's also one of those secret practicers, right? He's out there all the time. It's not for a lack of work, and it's a course for a horse. And Tiger is the biggest horse and biggest stud out there still at the Masters. So yeah, I think he's going to make the cut. I do think he'll make the cut.
Ken? Any chance he'll win it?
I don't think he's going to make it. His workhorse attitude is unmatched, but unfortunately his body is caught up to him. And there have just been too many injuries, and you watch him as he walks now, and he limps all the way. And it's Rod, you've been there before. It's a very hilly course. It looks a lot flatter on television than it is in person. I don't think he's up to it physically. Mentally, he's there. Physically, I don't think he's going to make the cut.
Well, there hasn't been a back-to-back winner since Tiger did it 21 years ago. Any chance Scheffler goes back-to-back here?
Yes.
Ken?
100%. Yeah, there's a reason the guy is number one. And he's kind of funny, because he's so disarming in his attitude. He doesn't look like a guy who is in there 110%. He looks very relaxed. He looks very, out with the guys playing golf many times. But the proof is in the pudding. He's one of the biggest show ponies in the world. He's still ranked number one. There's a reason for that, and I would not be a bit surprised to see him come back as a repeat winner. The guy I'm really afraid of is Cameron Smith, and I say afraid because I hate the LIV guys, and I hate the fact that Cameron Smith went to LIV because he's a really good player. But I think Scotty Scheffler has a good chance of repeat.
Yeah, I want to dive into the LIV here too, but just your comments on Scotty, Rod.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the best player in the world right now. If it's not him, it's Rory McIlroy. I really do believe McIlroy. Those are my picks, and I do think it's them against the field. And there's a couple of reasons this week, which might affect everything. And this could go back to the Tiger. If Tiger does not make the cut this week, I honestly believe it has a lot to do with the body. And I do believe, though, that Tiger is getting himself in better shape and he can handle that. The issue is this week, there are three things that are going to win the Masters. You have to be a bomber, you have to be a putter, and you have to be a mutter, because it's going to rain all week in Augusta. All week. Look at the forecast. It's going to rain, and that means it favors the bombers, the guys who hit the ball. Nobody hits the ball, in my mind, further and has a game around that ball that is than Rory McIlroy. That's why I kind of think McIlroy would be my number one pick this week. But Scheffler, definitely, he's an Iceman, you guys. I mean, that's the thing, and he's coming in form. He's been around the winner's circle. He constantly is contending. It's not like Dustin Johnson or these guys who are coming in. And Dustin Johnson's a bomber, a great swinger on the LIV tour. But you can see that I don't think they're game ready for Augusta coming in this week. Again, people should always remember that these guys practice all the time. And this week they're in Augusta today and tomorrow. Some guys have been there last week. Tiger was there last week. They're getting around that course, and you have to know the course, but it's going to rain. And so that's why I kind of think that, the guys who can get it out there like Scheffler and like McIlroy, but Scotty Scheffler, he's got kind of a little funky swing, the way his legs lift, his body lifts, but he just gets it out there. He is a true star. I still think he's an underrated star. I don't think he gets enough pub considering what he has done. I do think there's a really good chance. It's very hard to win back-to-back at Augusta. Very, very hard with the pressure, and you got the dinner and all of that other stuff. And everybody's got a bullseye on you. And that's why look at the guys who have won back-to-back generally. They have been so mentally strong. Maybe the most mentally strong golfers that ever existed. So Scheffler could do it, but I honestly believe that this might be the week that McIlroy does it. And he just seems to me to be in perfect form for that. And I said putting, guys, you can't three-putt at the Masters. You three-putt at the Masters, you're done. That's been a proven point. You got to make sure that you can, you get around the green, your short game has to work, everything. It's a course for a horse. You had to play there well before. McIlroy's always been in. He's always been in contention. Scheffler's always in contention. That leaderboard at the end of the week, I can tell you right now. Actually, it starts off on Thursday. You're going to see some no names at the top of the leaderboard, right? You're going to see a couple go, oh, they got a good chance.
Always.
No, they don't. Yeah, no, they don't. No. And you'll see an amateur up there too. Mark my words, you'll see an amateur that can, and then there'll be somebody you've never heard of, or like a former champion. Like a Mike Weir might be up there. It's not going to last very long. Friday, you're going to start to see the cream rise. Saturday, because again, you got to consistently play the course. This course plays you too. Then Saturday, that leaderboard, it's almost all the world rankings. Always at the Masters, unlike any other championship, because they play it at the same time, and the guys who usually win know the course well.
Yeah,
Rod, you touched on this. Go ahead. Sorry, Ken. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
One of the funny things about golf is it goes in streaks. And when you're hot, you're hot. And when you're not, you're not. And it takes a while to climb back in. So one of the surprises, I think, at the WGC World Match Tournament was John Rahm's early exit. There he is, number 3. He's as hungry as you can get. And it was shocking to see him leave. I don't think he's going to be in your top 5 at the end, maybe not even in the top 10. But Scotty Scheffler, he's on a roll. And I think that means the world.
Yeah. Now, the thing about it, I like to go by form. With guys coming in recently, there used to be, before this event, was always the Shell Houston Open, and there was a drought, a curse. Guys got in. That was the last tournament you can get in, like the Valero, which Corey Connors just won. You get in immediately into the Masters if you win that. Corey was already qualified, so they'll add another player, right? But the Shell Houston Open, that was notorious. There's a curse that anybody who wins the tournament before the Masters never wins. It's like the par 3 tournament, right? That's why I kind of think that Corey Connors, I believe, I have him as one of my long shots, actually. Not a long shot, but a longer shot. I think Corey Connors can actually win this thing. The way he's starting to putt and this is the focus he has. But you're right, Ken. Scheffler is coming in really hot. I don't know about the John Rahm thing. I don't buy the match. And that's why they're going away from that match play. Match play is different golf completely. And Rahm is one of those, he's one of those streaky guys. And match play is honestly, it's a completely different entity. Like you can, some of the guys who even get to the finals in match play will never have a sniff at the Masters, because you said something absolutely right at the beginning, is that you got to climb. And sometimes at the Masters, you got to take your poison and you can build back. And you see in the back nine how you can build back at the Masters. You got to win those par 5s, right? And so you see guys who, if you can get through the front 9 and minus 2 or 3 or even, you got a good chance to finish 4 under, right? Going into the next day in your round, because you can score on the back 9. But Rahm, I wouldn't discount John Rahm, because he always plays so well in big events. This is a different one. Guys, this is a different baby. This is the Super Bowl, right? This is the Super Bowl of golf. And I think that one of the reasons that leaderboard is the way it is too, is because all of these guys, their attention to focus and detail just zips even more, like 100 times magnified. And you see it in their faces. And guys who make mistakes, that's why it took so long for Mickelson to win. Guys who make mistakes, and not stupid mistakes, will not win. Not win.
You remember when that happened with Rory a few years ago? Yeah. And he was done. He was devastated. And Rory, by the way, we haven't talked about that yet, going for the Grand Slam.
Yes.
Right.
And I think this is it. I honestly think this is, I cannot see I think he's the best player in the world. I think Scheffler is, even though he's, I don't know the confounded rankings, Scheffler technically is that number one. Rory McIlroy, in my mind, is the Connor McDavid of golf right now. His skill set is unbelievable. And if he can stay out of his way, because he gets a little loose at times, if he can stay out of his way and not make mistakes, I think he could actually run away with it. He is, and especially it's wet.
He had that little dip a while ago, Rod, where I think what happened was he lost his focus. He has been carrying the PGA in the battle against LIV, and he said a couple of weeks ago he had to step back from that, and I think that has probably helped him in the match play. I got to tell you, that was some of the best golf I have ever seen. There were shots being made by all of these guys, and when you talk about the focus that they have to have, there's a big difference between practicing a lot and being in a competitive tournament a lot. There's a whole different mindset that's involved in that. And one of the challenges is that, look, one out of every 5 players at the Masters this year is going to be from LIV. They don't play very often. They don't play enough competitive golf. That the mindset is there, that you need to have that steel trap upstairs between your ears. And I think Rory deciding to step back from the fight with LIV has helped him, and I think he's back in good form. I agree with you, Rod. He has well, look, it's a crapshoot anyway, right? These guys, you can't say anybody's running away like Tiger used to do. Anybody who's in the top 20 ranked in the world has a shot at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about? I want to talk about these LIV guys. So for the first time in 28 years, Phil missed last year. He's back this year along with DJ and the other LIV guys and Cam Smith and as you mentioned, a lot of LIV guys in this field, Ken. So what's the Champions Dinner going to be like? What's the over and under on punch-ups here, Rod?
Yeah, bum throwing.
He should serve some liver.
Beautiful.
I'm sorry, I
Beautiful.
said that.
Yeah.
Or maybe he'll serve
No, you're
some fava beans and a little Chianti. He'll have
There we go.
the live guys for dinner. No,
Well, the live guys say it's the media making all this up.
yeah.
I don't think so.
They
I've
still-
seen
their friendships are there.
some heated discussions going on, and idiots like Patrick Reed who go over and try to talk to Rory, and then he sort of tosses a T in his direction. Billy Horschel had some heated discussions with the live guys. I don't like live. For me, it's blood money, pure and simple. I understand these guys say they're putting their family first. Yeah, but I mean, Rod and Joe, you guys were around athletes all your life. The competitive nature of the athletes at the highest level, that's not there in live. That's not there.
No.
Cameron Smith is alone over there, and he's not. You know, he won at Mayakoba with live, but otherwise he's facing a bunch of has-beens and no-names. I don't like live in any way, shape, or form, and I don't think these guys have the platform to make them ready for the Masters.
They're throwing in the towel. Rod, what do you think?
I do think there is an element of the blood money. My only issue about the blood money is that sports is blood money now too, and there's so many people, despotic reprobates, who are involved in the high levels of sport, that athletes are going to take the money. So it is a business and money. That concerns me probably fifth or sixth down my list of my live concerns. All of the stuff that Ken just said. They don't play. They got yada yada yada. I mean, it's obvious. It reminds me of when the World Hockey Association began, and it became a rebel tour, a rebel hockey league, and it changed hockey. Though the WHA was responsible for changing hockey. All those players who make all the money they have today should thank the WHA, because it made it more competitive and created a business balance. Bobby Hull, they brought all these players over, and again, they didn't get any kind of media coverage, but then of course they died and they folded. And I can see actually something like this happening, probably, I said this long ago, probably happening down the road. There are some things that I do like about live that are going to make the PGA Tour better. The way they present the broadcast, I like that. Not so sure. I mean, the shorts thing, I think that's just logical. It's going to bring more kids into the game. I don't want to see Craig Stadler in shorts or anything like that, or in shorts. But I do think that we're in a world golf has to get less stuffy. And I do like that about it. But they're creating it like an MMA, whatever. We got to get that next generation to love and watch the game. Unfortunately, nobody's watching them right now. So if nobody's watching them and they're out of sight and out of mind, how are they going to grow what they have? That's my biggest concern for live. The rivalry, the dinner, the anger, the controversies, they're still all buddies. By the way, they all are neighbors to each other. They all live in the same neighborhood still. They all live down in Jupiter or in Arizona or California. They're all there. Golf's kind of got a little decorum. I never thought I'd see a scrap. It could happen with Brooks Koepka maybe and Bryson DeChambeau, but I just can't see it. It's just not that way. But it is. Here's the thing. We talked about live. We thought it was going to have a very short shelf life, like the XFL. Greg Norman has been this Captain Kane for a while here, and there have been a lot of mutineers, and there's a big bounty. But I will tell you, if they're going the way they're going right now, I just cannot see that somewhere there's going to be an amalgamation of some sort. And by the way, it's also going to make one thing I haven't liked is what the PGA Tour is going to do now. I don't like that, actually. I don't like the fact that they're going to have no cuts. I don't like the fact that it's not going to be a meritocracy. The beauty of golf is that you got to be really good to make your money. But now all of these guys, think about the guys who are from 70 on the money list to 144 or 124 or 25, who may never get in, may never have a chance to play and guess where some of these guys existed before, like the Jean Rahms, like the Scotty Schefflers. They were all on that list. So how are you going to develop any of the young players? So that's my concern about it. Could a live player win this week? Absolutely.
Well, Cameron Smith. Cam Smith.
Yeah.
And don't discount Dustin Johnson. Do not, never, like he just plays. Dustin Johnson cannot play for 2 months and can win a tournament. That's how talented. He's McIlroy's I said the McDavid. I keep having hockey references. Johnson is the Sidney Crosby. Always there, consistent. And if he just stays out of his way too, he could win. I would not discount Dustin Johnson. He's too good.
I would discount him. 100%.
Oh, really? I think you gotta watch him play. And he doesn't. He's one of those players that I think rises to the level of the tournament. And it's like what Tiger says. I only play majors, but Dustin Johnson's still kind of playing. Look what he's done in the past. His past record shows, especially at Augusta too, how much he knows. Here's the thing too.
Well, the past is
the Bombers. Yeah, the Bombers now, like Dustin Johnson, who it's a long way. The Bombers in the wet in Augusta. That's how Bubba Watson went. If you've ever gone to Augusta, you'll know that there isn't really rough. There isn't a lot of rough. So the Bombers can even bomb it into the trees. But you can wedge out. If you're wedging into every green, which Bubba Watson did, wedged into essentially every green. 9 of the 10 par fours are over 440 yards. 3 of those par fours are over 495 yards. It's short hitter can't win now. So if a guy's hitting at 340, 350 at Augusta, now you're gouging wedges up. And if the guy who gets it closest to the hole, that's how you get your putting number down. And that's why I do think
but some of the shorter hitters were not going for the par 5s in 2. They were laying up and depending on that wedge. The Zach Johnsons of the world who were past champions there.
Mike Weir, what do you want? Yeah.
I find, we all know the phrase about how golf is measured in yards, but it matters in inches. And at Augusta, especially, the greens is the defense of the course more than it is the length. So I would not say that it is just a Bombers course. I think I'm just
saying this week it's a Bombers course because it's going to be wet. Yeah, and it's going to be wet. Now, Mike Weir also won, but Mike Weir won. Think about this, you guys. 20 years ago, Mike Weir won this year. And I was there.
Right.
And because of that rain and all the delays, and his wedge won him the Masters. But the difference is technology's changed in 20 years. And Mike Weir at the time maybe could get it out 275 max. And at that time, 20 years ago, there were only, I think on the top 100, there were only 10 guys, I want to say, that averaged over 300. Do you know in the top 100 how many guys averaged 300? All 100.
Oh, 100. Yeah.
That's why they lengthened the courses, right? So it's the wedges, but these guys are just so damn good, man. They're so good at everything. So good. Crazy good.
All right. So when Joe, you asked us for top picks on this.
Let's get into the picks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rod sent me a very nasty email filled with words that I didn't know Rod used because I usurped him on the picks.
Yeah, he took my picks, and then I said my favorite 3: Happy Gilmore, Shooter McGavin. I can't remember who my third was. And my last shot was Joe Tilley.
Yeah. Rodney Dangerfield. So here's just to go over the odds. Scheffler's favored at 8-1. Rahm second at 15-2. McIlroy 17-2. By the way, Corey Connors' odds didn't change much despite the win yesterday. But I want to say that win was so clutch. Corey went bogey free in that final round, which was unbelievable. And then when Stevens put that pressure on him with the eagle on 17 to get within a stroke, he just shook that off and finished par, no problems.
Yeah, but Stevens really gave him the room for his money.
Yeah,
Stevens
he did.
Yeah.
And he would have gotten the Masters had he won. Corey Connors' issue has always been the putter, right? And that's what I loved yesterday. Even when he kind of blew it by, that was a tough putt he had on 18. He looks steely. I think the Corey Connors, honestly, maybe of last year or maybe the year before, might have missed that putt coming back. And there seems to be a different focus. He had to change his putter. Guys, 2 years ago, I think we did this 2 years ago. And I remember Golf Digest, I think it was Golf Digest, had a simulator, put all the computer numbers in, and they said who would win the Masters, who was most likely to win the Masters. And that computer spat out at the time Corey Connors, and it wasn't even close. And he, by the way, look at his numbers at Augusta. Again, Corey was one of my long shots, but I'm going to put him into my top 3 because maybe wouldn't that be something? I also believe in trends in sports and mystique and karma. 20 years later, Weir will be in the field.
Another Canadian.
I don't want to put pressure on him, but I think he's the guy. He's the best ball striker on tour. And that's not a provocative statement. He strikes the ball better than anybody else. His swing, it's always been the putter. If he can get it together, stay constant, keep his head, I think Corey Connors can win the Masters. I really do.
Where did he finish last year? A tie for 10th? Something like that?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
He was top 10. Again, he was top 10.
Putter kind of cost him, right? So,
okay.
If you want to talk about Canadians, Mac Hughes at the World Match Play, I mean, he was playing. I don't know, was he playing with his head? He's sneaky long. He's one of those guys who you don't think is a bomber, but then he sends it 50 yards past some of the bombers. I was delightfully surprised by how he played, but he has not had a great record at the Masters.
Right. I got a chance to play with Mac at the Canadian Amateur Golf Media Day one day when you're long time ago now, probably 10 years. It was fun.
And he slumped for 8 weeks.
He watched my swing and tried to emulate it. It was terrible.
I love Mac. I love Mac. I love Mac. You know what I like about Mac too is I love his heart and soul and how much he thinks about his community and Dundas and his mom, who was a hero during COVID. She was right in the front lines, a nurse that helped out Mac Hughes. You know, he just I love him. I always say he's just one of the he's so typically Canadian. I love the way he plays and.
Now, one of the guys, Rod, Canadian, who you've played with, who's a bomber, is Taylor Pendrith. And I know when we've chatted before about him, you were quite impressed when you saw him in person hitting the ball. There are a lot of long ball hitters, though, that it's just fun to watch them hit the ball. He's not lived up to the potential yet.
No, he hasn't, and it's very tough for first timers too, right? Like that's the thing. But Taylor's had some. He's had some success. He's got a really good short game, and he was a lot bigger. He's kind of trimmed down a little bit, but not that means anything in golf. But the dude's real. And again, I say about the long hitters, and you know, I've always been a guy that wanted to bring the ball back. And you know, do you have to really hit it that far? Do we have to keep lengthening courses? The game was great when the players were only hitting. You look at highlights. Was there anything wrong when Nicklaus won in '86 and they were only hitting it like 260, 270, maybe? Like, no, there was nothing wrong. It was golf, and it comes down to drama. So it's not a video game, but Taylor Pendrith is, again, a guy I think the world of him. I think we could be talking about Taylor Pendrith in the same stratosphere as other great Canadian golfers down the road. And you know, he's a little older than, you know, he's not a rookie. He's been around. He's been on the minor tours for a while, but he's really good. I don't discount him either, but it's really tough. It's really tough to be there if you haven't been around the winner's circle at Augusta before.
Okay, let's get to the picks, and I noticed that just before we came on, Rod, you said, or just now you said you wanted to replace Corey Connors. So if we look at your blacklist, Vic, let's bring that up.
Nice.
You're at the blacklist.
I have Rod's a lot of names.
Okay.
Up there. Yeah. Scotty,
okay. There you go. Yeah.
I don't know. That wasn't my pick. I didn't pick Xander Schauffele. That's last year's pick. But you know what? I'll put him in there. Put Xander in there too.
No. Xander should be replaced by Rory.
These are last year's.
Rory.
These are. You know what? This is last year's picks. I could go with these again though, because I'll tell you one thing too. The best.
No, the only difference is Schauffele.
Yeah,
Schauffele Rory instead of Schauffele. Yeah.
Right. But see, so because this is last year's picks, I will put Xander in there. One thing Xander Schauffele does, guys, is he is, I think, number one in scoring on long par fours on the PGA Tour. That's why he does so well at the Masters. That's a good pick, and he plays great at Augusta. And I do want to have I wanted them to screw Jim Nantz up in the final round. And now we send up
He can't pronounce Shoffley?
Here's Scheffler and Shoffley.
Shoffley, yeah.
There's, I think, right? We should have Stricker in there too. Scheffler and Shoffley and Stricker. Hello. It's Shoffley, no, it's Scheffler, Shoffley. Oh, what a shot by Shoffley. Anyway, Roy, I'm gonna go. My number one pick after this weekend, the guy who's going to wear the green jacket will be Rory McIlroy. There's my pick. That's it.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Rory McIlroy will win the Masters. All
right, Ken, let's have a look at Ken's picks. Here we go. And, of course, you got Rory in there as well. And anyone with his first name Cameron. Okay.
That's
explain that.
I love that.
Yeah, Cameron Young.
Cameron Diaz have a chance?
Cameron
Diaz.
Yeah. How about somebody from Cameroon? No?
No, that's no good. That's the one name. Listen, Cameron Young, second year on tour. They talk about Patty Ice, Cantlay having ice water running through his veins. This guy is pretty close to that. And Cameron Smith, who we talked about before, the only knock against Cameron Smith, aside from the mullet, the only knock against him is the fact that he doesn't compete that much at LIV. Otherwise, I got to tell you, it wouldn't surprise me if Cameron Smith was there, and it wouldn't surprise me if Cameron Young was there. My heart goes to Rory. I'd love to see him get the Grand Slam. Shoffley is there's a reason why he's number one right now. John Rahm, I just couldn't put him in there because he's on a skid right now, and I don't know that he's ever coming back. But the guy who showed up in Rod's picks from last year, Jordan Spieth, don't rule him out either. He's also a much longer hitter than they give him credit for. He's not a bomber, but he's pretty close to it, and he has the short game. You know what, Rod? One of the funny things you mentioned just a short time ago, Jack Nicklaus winning, and you talked about how they're making the courses longer because the guys are hitting the ball longer with technology and with fitness and skill, by the way, too. That the earlier guys did not have, including the Walrus, who you don't want to see in shorts. And that is the fact that the greens have also become much more deadly. If you go back to Jack Nicklaus putting, Arnold Palmer putting, they were putting on shag carpets. They were actually using their wrists. Today you never see that.
They wrapped it. Remember Nicklaus, and remember how Nicklaus putted and he had that. Here, I'll go left-handed. I guess I'll go right-handed. There you go. Remember how he'd actually watch his wrists go like that. And you never see that anymore. You never see that anymore.
Never. Never. It's all big muscles. All big muscles.
Yeah. You never saw that.
You have to take the wrists out of it. Okay, here's the official winners. Here are the official winners for the Masters. Top three in this order. John Rahm. I say he does come back. Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler. Long shot, Mac Hughes. Longer shot, Corey Connors.
Mexico Heat.
Yeah, and there you go. And so winner gets to buy dinner.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Golf. We did this before. I think.
Okay,
we'll win before.
The winner gets to buy dinner. Is that what it is?
Is that what it is?
As I recall, only one of us has been a winner in the past.
All right. So we'll go golfing on my tab, and we'll have the winner buy dinner. Not the winner, but the losers buy dinner for the winner. There we go.
Losers buy dinner, and the winner has to strip naked and jump in the pond at 18 at Emerald Hills. That's how it's going to work.
Okay, that's how it's going to go.
Would be better.
Yeah,
Gabby would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be our last time golfing there. It'd be fun.
Yeah,
and we'll have video too. Guys, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here. It's been a blast. And will the patrons be hard on the boys from LIV at Augusta National? Yeah.
No,
I think so.
Yeah.
No, you'll hear them.
No.
The problem with the patrons now is that you can get tossed out. They're still very polite.
Yeah.
But you're going to hear a couple of what is it, Baba Booey? You still hear Baba Booey? Well, the Howard Stern faithful, they're going to say you're going to hear a little cat call for a DJ
traitor.
Paulina, whatever it might be, traitor. You're going to hear it. But it's not. Here's a bigger question. Will it bother them?
Blood money.
No.
No.
Won't bother them.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised. You know what? There aren't going to be any placards. You wouldn't get those through security.
No.
Well, you know what? You pay a lot of money, and you put your name in a lottery to get in there. And certainly, if you're lucky enough to be there on the Saturday or, heaven forbid, the Sunday, you're not going to blow it by being an idiot in the crowd. I don't see the heckling.
I don't know. It's not going to be pervasive, but I guarantee you there will be somebody, because one of the things about Augusta too, beers are $3.
Yeah, that'll loosen up the voice.
I've been there many times. Even though people, and there's a lot of jabbing and stuff going on, but it's right in the middle of a crowd, so the security doesn't see them.
All right, I've changed my mind, Roddy. I'm with you. $3 beer did it to me.
He didn't know the $3 beer was a thing. Yeah.
I can't wait to see you guys on the golf course.
Okay, looking forward to it. Yeah, and the Nashville trip sounds fun too. We're in.
Let's do it. We're doing it, guys.
All right.
Come on, Tyler.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yes,
More
sir.
sports when we come back. My Costa Swiss pick of the week. Last week, I took Nautical Hanover in Saturday night's $70,000 final of the New Holland Pacing Series. Nautical Hanover, with James McDonald in the buggy, made his move heading into the final turn, charging to the front, took complete control, winning going away by 4 lengths in 152-3. This is one fine 4-year-old. Ben Baillargeon, the trainer of the top 2 in this race. The 8-10-3 trifecta returned $1,343.30. This week, I'm looking at Monday night's third race, a preferred trot, the 7-horse White Tiger, with James McDonald driving, has been getting close to top form few times out. I think he's good to go. I'll do a $5 win place, and let's go with the 7-1-5 exacta and trifecta box. For all the racing updates, visit Costa TV on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Go to hpibet.com for your wagering options.
Joe Tilley Sports is brought to you by COSA, Central Ontario Standardbred Association, providing a united voice for harness horse people racing at Ontario tracks. Check out your benefits today at COSAonline.com and check out COSA TV on Facebook and YouTube for all the latest harness news and live action updates. Live racing year-round. Go to hpibet.com for all your wagering options. Become a member today, and your first bet is free. That's hpibet.com. Addiction Rehab Toronto, Toronto's #1 alcohol and drug treatment center, saving lives, reuniting families. The only treatment center in the province to offer medical detox, treatment, sober living, and lifetime aftercare all in one place. Our unique and specialized programs are designed to equip our clients with the tools to successfully lead a life of dignity, respect, and purpose. Let us help save your life or your loved one's life. Call today for more information or to facilitate an intervention. 1-855-787-2424 or visit addictionrehabtoronto.ca. Guests on Joe Tilley Sports receive a gift certificate from Classica Imports. Top of the line imported men's clothing. Check out the Classica Essential Collection now. Go to shopclassica.com.
And we want to thank all the folks who make this show possible. These are friends, trusted business associates, and all-around great people. Thank you for your support of Canadian and local sports. A reminder that the show is available on iTunes, Spotify, Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, as well as the Spanglish Network, Zingo TV, and Buzz TV. Also, check out the show on YouTube. All of our past great shows and clips on there. Like and subscribe. It's free. Thanks once again to Rod Black and Ken Shaw for being on the program. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Do you want to buy or sell a home? Could 31 years of real estate experience help you? Why not speak to an amazing team that loves to overpromise and overdeliver? Aldo has a tremendous team of experts on staff. They are committed to making your next real estate transaction smooth and comfortable. Call 416-GET-ALDO or visit getaldo.com. Brian Gribben Insurance Planning, helping you solidify your financial future.
At BGIP, what we do that's unique in the marketplace is we show people how to spend and enjoy their money in their early years of retirement without the fear of running out. Also, we're able to do this without you having to change financial advisors. Please look us up at bgip.ca today. Let's book a 30-minute phone call to see how we can bring value to you and your family in your planning.
Call Brian today for all your retirement needs. We did. 905-686-5678.
MNP, a leading Canadian national accounting, tax, and business accounting firm. MNP proudly serves and responds to the need of their clients in the private, public, and nonprofit sectors. Through partner-led engagements, MNP provides a collaborative, cost-effective approach to do business and personal strategies to help people and organizations to succeed across the country and around the world. With local offices in Oshawa, Mississauga, Burlington, and more, their team is here to support you. Visit mnp.ca today to learn more.